How you going? My name is Neil Milton. I'm the General Manager of ChildSafe, and we are with Kayelene Kerr. Kayelene Kerr is the founder of ESafe Kids. It's an organisation that educates and equips and empowers people and children to have the tricky conversations about the tricky topics. Now, Kayelene, you've given us so many great videos over the time, and I just want to thank you very much for your time. Again, really appreciate it. Today's topic is very, very important, as they all have been, but really important. And I think this one is really good because it's important for all ages. We're looking at feelings and emotional intelligence. Now, from a parenting perspective or even a workplace perspective, we know that employers right now are actually looking for emotional intelligence, someone who can read the room and understand the different emotions that are going on in the room and not feel like they have to project their own onto the room. Someone who can understand people and be empathetic. And that's so critical, but that can be taught at a young age, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I see more and more schools, and even I was working in a daycare centre last week where social and emotional learning is becoming the foundation, because we know that if children are feeling safe and they have these skills, then their learning, their interactions with other students, etc., will flourish. But if we don't get the foundations nice and a really nice strong foundation, then sometimes we can run into difficulties along the way. So it's incredibly important. It's a life skill. So ideally, we are giving our children the opportunity to get competence in this in their childhood so that they can draw on this in their adolescence and then ultimately into adulthood as well when they enter a workplace or a relationship, that type of thing.
So, what does emotional intelligence look like when it comes to
Yeah.
children?
Yeah, so when we're working with children, and depending on the age of the children, we might just we'll chunk it up and make it more simple for younger children. But essentially, what we're wanting, the goal is to teach children how to recognise their feelings in themselves and recognise feelings in others, so their siblings or their peers. We want children to understand the cause and the consequence of feelings. We want to help children label their feelings, and we really want to expand their feelings vocabulary. We want to assist children to express their emotions appropriately. And we also, for some children, will assist them with regulation strategies to regulate those overwhelming emotions. Now, as the trusted adults in children's lives, when children are very young, we tend to, I hear, parents talking about probably 4 feelings a lot. We tend to talk a lot about happy and sad, angry and scared. But there's so many more feelings. And so if we can expand our children's feelings vocabulary, we're giving them a language to accurately articulate what's actually going on for them. Caroline Ellen, and I can't recall where she works, but this quote just sticks with me and I share it far and wide now. She always talks about we put boundaries on behaviors, not on feelings. So do you know what? It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel frustrated. But when you're feeling angry or frustrated, it's not okay to use those words towards me. It's not okay to speak to your brother or sister like that. It's not okay to throw your toys or treat property in that way. So the feeling's okay, but we might put a boundary around the behavior that's not desirable. There's lots and lots of different ways that we can do this. And I'm certainly not an expert on feelings and emotional intelligence. There's many other people that are a holder of a huge amount of information in that space. But I do have lots and lots of resources that I can share to assist parents in starting these foundational sort of conversations.
And these are from Kmart, would you believe?
Yeah. So there are some feelings books that you'll find that are specialty books that sometimes are for particular topics. So talking with children, perhaps children that have anxious feelings, talking with children about grief, talking with children about a range of other feelings. And they'll be specialty books, but don't ever underestimate Kmart, sometimes Big W, perhaps even Target, for resources that are affordable and are accessible. So with our children, we really want to just be talking about feelings from a really young age, and it's just verbalizing the conversation. So really just seize the teachable moments that present themselves in your everyday. And reading with children is such it's just so vital. And so when you're reading with children from a really young age, just incorporate some of the books as feelings books. Now I'll just share with you a couple of my finds from Kmart for younger children. So this is a book, it's Thomas and Friends, and it's a feelings book. So this can be for, much younger children, particularly those that like Thomas the Tank Engine. And it's very simple. So when Thomas is feeling angry, his boiler bubbles. When Thomas is feeling scared, he shakes and shivers. So that's a really great little book for younger children. Another one is Tracy Moroney has written a fantastic series of books on feelings, but this is her first book of feelings. So this is a hardcover book, and it's a lift and flap book. So it's dark and I hear a scary noise. I am feeling scared. And so that's that one. That was like about $6. There's a great little book. It's called Brave. And that's a fantastic book for younger children. Perhaps one of my favorite finds recently is this one. It's called How Do You Feel? And in this one, you lift and slide out to reveal a range of feelings cards. And so we're teaching the children the words, but also it has feelings faces.
Oh, wow.
Because we want to teach children we want to expand their feelings vocabulary, but we're also teaching children to recognize feelings in themselves and in others. So this one's really great. This is Billy, and change Billy's face to match how you're feeling today. And you could put, excited or happy or any of the
So you can literally just put it on top of the face.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what I love about this book particularly is it shows children that in the same circumstances, we can all feel differently. So these 4 characters go to the doctors. One is feeling sad. One is feeling brave. One is feeling scared. At the playground, one is feeling excited. One is feeling shy. One is feeling worried. So it's a really great book to show the kids that, we all have a range of feelings and we will all experience them in different ways. So that's another great one. Some other really cool finds in Kmart is this one. It's called The Worrying Worries. And this is a really important book for teaching children that it's important to talk with a trusted adult if you've got any worries, because oftentimes worries don't just go away. In fact, those worries, those thoughts and feelings, they just increase. So that's a great one for talking with trusted people about our worries. And there's another great book. It's called The Problem with Problems. And it's in the same sort of vein as The Worrying Worries, that, sometimes we all have different problems, but we often will need the help of a trusted adult or someone to talk with about our problems. So that's another great one. And this is just $6. I think this is an absolute must. It's a Right and White Feelings book. There's also one, and it's called the Wellbeing book. So that's a fantastic one that accompanies this. So just $6, and inside it, it's a book you can use with one child multiple times, or you could use the one book with multiple children. So I like this one because it starts off with naming feelings by looking at their facial expression. So they might not understand the word angry at that point in time or be able to recognize the word angry, but they might be able to recognize that facial expression. That we show people feelings in different ways. So we can say it, we might write about it, we might draw how we're feeling, we might show it on our face, and we might show it with our body language. So this is just showing children, so recognizing it in ourselves and in others. You can see why I really love this one. And it just goes on. And it also has some emotional regulation strategies for when we get overwhelmed by those big emotions. So that's a great one as well. Probably one of my favorites, and this is my go-to gift, has been for many years. You might be familiar with In My Heart. This is often came up for about $12, and that's just an absolutely beautiful book about feelings. So there's that one as well. And just the Feeling series by Tracy Maroney. So in this book set, you get 6 books for $10. And this one is Angry, Lonely, Scared, Sad, Happy, and Kind. She's also written 3 or 4 other books. So she does Anxious, Disappointed, Jealous, and Lonely. So they're really great as well. And her My Calm Me Down book is about $10. And this is jam-packed with information about feelings, but then importantly, de-escalation or emotional regulation strategies. So that is a really, really great book as well. So I've got some others, but it gives you a bit of an idea. Also in Kmart for $3.50, you can get these little feelings cards. So they can be great for teaching children looking at facial expressions. So yeah, loads of great resources. Don't ever discount having a bit of a flick through all the books in Kmart or Big W, because you'll find that there is a huge amount of resources that are there, and they're very affordable. And then you could introduce those in your home, in your daycare centre, your classroom, or any community space where you work with children and young people.
That's so good, and so important to teach children about their feelings and name it, because it actually teaches them as they grow. And we have a really big problem with mental health in mental health in Australia. There's a lot of stigma around it, especially for men and young boys. And there's been a culture for many years about keeping your feelings to yourself and things like that. And so this is actually trying to break that stigma from a young age, because if you can express how you feel there, then maybe when you talk about colors or the faces and things like that, you might not be able to say, I feel sad, but you might say, I feel blue. And then therefore that can actually be a really good segue into saying, I feel depressed, or I feel lonely, or I feel whatever. And so you're teaching children at a young age. And a lot of parents might be watching this going, I think my child's too young to talk about feelings. And I would like to say that's not true, because every child has feelings. As Dr. Justin Colson says, little people, big feelings, because they're people. And so the reality is that everyone has feelings. Children have feelings, adult has feelings, teenagers, tweenagers, etc. And as parents, we need to help them regulate them so they become emotionally intelligent and they can help understand and provide a room.
Yeah, absolutely. It's everything you've just said. It really is. Sometimes we don't recognize that, children have the same range of emotions and feelings as adults, and boys and girls have the same range of feelings and emotions. And sometimes as a society, we perhaps have brought our children up in ways that say, you know what, it's more socially acceptable for girls to talk about how they're feeling, but not so much for our boys. And when we look at the suicide and self-harm rates for males in Australia, it is staggering. And so if we can just start talking with our children, our boys and our girls, about feelings from a really young age, it really is an essential life skill. And in the context of safety, Neil, because most of our work, our conversation so far has been really about minimising and reducing risk to children. In the context of safety, we want children to be able to talk about and recognise when they're feeling safe. What does that feel like on the inside and the outside of my body? Where are the places I feel safe? Who are the people I feel safe with, etc. And we also want children to know that if they're ever feeling unsafe, that it's okay to come and speak with a trusted adult about that. If you're at a place or a space with people that you normally feel really comfortable and happy with, but for whatever reason you're not feeling comfortable or happy now, it's okay and really important that you speak with a trusted adult about that. So talking about feelings is an important life skill, but in the context of keeping children safe, it is essential, because children that don't feel comfortable, don't feel that they have trusted adults to talk with, if they are in an unsafe situation, they're not going to be able to access the help and the assistance and support that they need.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Kayelene. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much once again for a wonderful video about feelings and emotional intelligence. We thank you and we look forward to the next one.
Great. Thanks, Neil.